happening less and less as the years go by, mostly as people stop listening to anything that had anything to do with hippies. But every year, somebody decides that they want to take a shot at one of my favorite musicals of all time, Jesus Christ Superstar. Yes, we own the Spanish vinyl album of Jesucristo Superstar. Like, I get why they do this. Like, it's the kind of thing that a certain style of Catholic has once thought would be good for mass music, and like, no. But also, like, do not step on Jesus Christ Superstar. I'm hilarious when I try to sound tough, but back off. Give credit where credit is due. Jesus Christ Superstar is Andrew Lloyd Webber's second best musical. The first best is Evita. This is a fact, not an opinion. And the first thing you need to understand about this musical is that it is groovy. Like, it's probably the grooviest thing ever written by a white British guy, and like, respect. But the part that I want to talk about is how it's a beautiful meditation on the humanity of Christ. This has admittedly been a problem with people for good reason. Jesus Christ Superstar purposefully ignores any idea or concept or claim of the divinity of Christ. That's straight up what it does, and that's why it's not church music. That's why you don't perform it as like the Passion Play at your church. And any depiction of Jesus that does not include the fact that he was, you know, God, is gonna be an imperfect and incomplete picture of Jesus. Prayer is depicted, divinity is not. So a couple things. One, the fact that prayer is depicted and divinity is not, that's how most of us live most of our lives. So it's easy to relate to. This was a musical by and for non-religious baby boomers, but it can still help us, trust me. Secondly, intentional and deep and prayerful study of the humanity of Christ can lead the faithful to a new understanding of the action of Christ, of the sacrifice of Christ, of the power of what he did. Watch this. When I read the Bible and it talks about the Garden of Gethsemane, I can think about the idea of God the Father and God the Son and the relationship between the two of them and how God the Son chooses to sacrifice himself. Really intricate and hairy theology that I'm not very qualified to work on. Or I can do what Andrew Lloyd Webber did. Do my best to understand what I would go through if I was in that situation. The Bible says that Jesus was, you know, disturbed to the point of sweating blood and that he asked 3 separate times for this to be taken away from him. So you can infer an interior struggle based on like me being a human and Jesus being a human. We can guess what some of those struggles could be. By noticing that struggle and living in the human element of what is going on, we can stand in even greater understanding and awe at the divine things that are also going on. The third thing I can do is both at the same time, which is what we really should do. We are encouraged to do this by the spiritual masters of our own tradition. Ignatius of Loyola told us to do this. Take a Bible story, imagine yourself as a character in that Bible story, specifically not to think that we're Jesus, and using your formation as a Christian and your mind as a person, dive into the human realities so that God can reveal to you the divine realities. Yes, far too many people, the musical Jesus Christ Superstar is the closest they'll get to actually meditating on the life of Christ. If this musical is your introduction to Jesus, please like do more than just this musical. But the believer has a lot to gain through the artistic liberties that Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice took during this musical. So this Lent, take a gander at Jesus Christ Superstar. If you're lucky, you could use it as a springboard for like good prayer and good meditation. And if you're not lucky, then you still got that funky music.